What's up, Michigan? Welcome back to episode 6 of State Champs Hangtime. My name's Lauren Plant, TJ Kelly. We're recording this on February 14th. Happy Valentine's
Happy
Day.
Valentine's.
Valentine's. So when you see this, of course, we're long beyond that, but lots of love here on stage. And thank you so much for tuning in again. We're going to get right into it, talk about this week's paint pontifications. He's got a lot to pontificate about. First off, of course, the PSL playoffs in full swing. We're getting ready for the championship, but in the semifinals, Detroit Renaissance rises up. Detroit's King beats Detroit King 66-46. Just so happens to be the 20th anniversary since their last PSL crown. Is Renaissance for real? This was a big win.
Hey, I tell you what, if they are not for real this year, they're going to be really tough to beat. They are going to be the favorite in the PSL next year, saying that everybody sticks around.
Right.
Obviously, Lance Stone, Jordan Sigmund being the standout players there. John White doing a fantastic job as a head coach. Yes, King was a little bit beat up. Renaissance wound up getting some revenge from an earlier loss in the year. But yeah, fantastic job. And I'll tell you what, Cass Tech took care of business with Detroit Western. And for some reason, I'm still thinking about the semifinal in the PSL championship where they lost 3 years ago, and they were the heavy favorite.
That's right.
Losing to Detroit Western. King and Western wound up playing the PSL championship at Oakland University. But I think that Cass Tech is, they've got something there like this isn't happening to us again. But yeah, hats off to Cass Tech, defending state champions, and then to see Detroit Renaissance, an up-and-coming team in the fold is great as well.
Let's move on to the Catholic League, right? Those playoffs going on, of course, at the same time as well. Orchard Lake getting it done. Brother Rice taking care of Catholic Central, and so they'll face each other in the championship at Callahan, despite Devin Lee for CC doing his thing, throwing it down, right?
Devin Lee stepped up big time.
Yes, but Warren Marshall, Elijah Williams, too much in the end.
Yeah, well, it was great to see Warren Marshall doing what he's going to be doing on the next level, going to Oakland University, playing at Oakland University, and that's what we've talked about him in the past, just stepping up as a senior, but also fitting in, finding his role as a leader on the team, and as great big-time players step up at big-time games, and hats off to Orchard Lake St. Mary's holding off De La Salle.
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk about those matchups towards the end of the show. Okay, we mentioned history. Want to get into a very historic game is taking place this Friday. It will be the final time that Saginaw takes on Saginaw Arthur Hill. Now, if any of you are familiar with the rivalry, or maybe you're not, I will encourage you. We did a documentary on the Arthur Hill-Saginaw rivalry. Ryan Slocum was our reporter at the time for that, and he was embedded with that community for so long. Does a great job. It's a fantastic documentary. You can watch it on the State Champs YouTube page. Just Google Saginaw versus Saginaw Arthur Hill.
Well, they're playing at the Dow Center on Friday. He holds 5,000 people. I'm reading an article on that, Mitch SA, and they're saying, hey, these tickets are probably going to sell out in 20 minutes. And that's just how big it is. Not only that, because you have other people that have heard the lore. Yep. They're going to say, oh, wow, I may be 10 or 12 years old, but hey, son, we're going to go watch this game. I'm bringing the whole family and stuff like that. So, hey, whoever doing the parking attendance and all that stuff, and I'm sure they'll be plenty prepared a few hours before tip-off.
And State Champs will be there. So if you cannot be there, State Champs will be there. Even producer Robbie is going to be there. So fantastic. So look forward to that. And again, sad to see, but so much history there. Watch our documentary. There's lots of videos, too, that you could just Google and talk about that. And just the players that have come out of those two programs over the years. It's a literal who's who. All right, speaking of players, talking about who's next? That's what we always want to know, right? So TJ is going to give us just a little recruiting update on some of the action that's going in around Michigan high school basketball.
Yeah, well, you talked about Orchard Lake St. Mary's. They show that they're much more than a team than just Trey McKinney. Right. Trey McKinney was solid, but he wasn't exactly what we've expected on Tuesday night's victory. But yeah, he just picked up an offer from Georgia Tech. I know Notre Dame was in the building watching him last night, Tuesday night. He is starting to hear from Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina. So hey, that's a wonderful, let's say, this blossoming of his recruitment
Yeah.
when you think that it couldn't get any bigger. And
Right.
hey, Trey definitely is out there taking care of business. And, just to watch the evolution of his game, that's what's really attracting these Blue Bloods.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, we've got Nathan Johnson, who I think is a standout. He had an offer from Grand Valley State. There was a light offer, I guess, as you could say nowadays, from Central Michigan a year ago. Kind of waiting just to see how everything was going on. Tony Barbie's having a fantastic year at Central Michigan, and so it was one of those things where just trying to figure out where things were going after maybe not the greatest first 2 years for him. But he's a guy that's 6'6", really stands out as a really tough player. He does a lot of let's say this, he's that glue guy that helps teams win, and he's a reason why Grand Rapids Christian is up there at the in the top 5 in the state.
All right, we got time for one more.
Yeah, we sure do. And you want to look over at Keyshawn Fisher over at River Rouge. Just picked up an offer from Duquesne, just picked up an offer from Florida Gulf Coast. Me personally, I'm a fan of stone crabs, so you go down to Fort Myers, it's not too bad down to Florida Gulf Coast. But that's not saying anything, about against the guys in Pittsburgh and stuff like that. But Duquesne was also in to see him play. Tuesday, they were in to see him practice, and so he is starting to get a little bit more looks. We'll see how that winds up going, and for a kid that's only been playing basketball, organized basketball, for just a couple of years, it's just one of those things that it shows what hard work can do, and as he is still learning, I think his best basketball is ahead.
Yeah, and Cass head coach Steve Hall, former assistant at Duquesne, so they have got those roots in the city and the community surrounding Detroit for sure. All right, so let's get into rankings rationale. We've just got one for you this week, and it is going to be talking about a new entry into TJ's Top 25. By the way, you can read his rankings each and every Monday. You just go to statechampsnetwork.com, the website, click on the rankings tab, and TJ's rankings will pop up for you. Joining the Top 25, Davison. They have been winning a lot. Talk about the Cards.
Well, the Cardinals obviously had a great run in football. Started off the season a little slow. I think they had 3 losses in their first 5 games. It can be expected for teams that make those long runs in football. We've seen it with Warren D. when they wound up winning their state title.
Right.
But going back to Davison, they're in the Saginaw Valley Conference. Mike Williams, the Hall of Fame coach over from Beecher, where he let's say this, was able to hone his skills. Moved on to Davison, but now he's in Class A. We talk about Trey McKinney a lot. We should also be talking about Greg Lawson, who's a 2025 guard. You talk about a kid that's all-state defensive back, and now he's playing the 1 and the 2 for Davison. But great size, able to fill it up. I think it was the EYBL 16 and under, one of the top 5 leading scorers.
Wow.
So that speaks volumes for him.
That's impressive.
And not only that, he's also getting a lot of high major looks as well as high major offers. So it'd be great to do a little follow-up and maybe with him next week and see where his recruitment is.
All right, so congratulations, Davison, getting into the top 25. He'll also put he'll talk about the teams, if you look at the rankings, who fell out and some teams maybe on the bubble. But it's a good list, and we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs. So in our future forecast, we always want to talk about what is going to be the big games of the week. Well, really, there's 2. And that's the PSL Championship, and that's the Catholic League Championship. PSL Championship, Renaissance versus Cass Tech. Who you got?
Wow. You know what? I'm going to go with the state champs. I think that they're still rolling from what they had last year. Obviously, losing Darius Acuff, who's at IMG Academy, was huge.
Huge.
And his game keeps on elevating. He'll be a top 5 player in the country. I would expect by sometime in July. I think one of the things with Cass Tech is they're looking for respect. Just because, look, they look at themselves and saying, hey, we're wearing the jerseys right now, and this is our team right here. If you want to go ahead and discount us, you don't want to rank us higher or even put us in the top 25 in the preseason, then we might have an issue when we're out here to prove some things. Detroit Renaissance, on the other hand, they're young, and one thing about young teams, sometimes they don't know what they do. Yeah. And sometimes they can go ahead and win and go on runs. So let's say they're able to win the PSL championship, and then they're even go. I think they're going to Birmingham Groves, and let's see how they do in the districts out there. I know it's been a while since they won a district, but it'll be Renaissance. They're not. This will not be a rollover game.
Right.
So, but I'm liking Cassidy.
And regardless of how it turns out for Renaissance, this is a big moment for them to see what they have in the big moments. So whether you win or you lose, you're going to pull something out of this particular performance to say, hey, we've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
So let's go. All right. One more, the Catholic League Championship. That is Orchard Lake St. Mary's. That is Brother Rice. You almost wouldn't have it any other way.
It's got to be. This is the third time that they played this year. Orchard Lake's in. Now, hold on. Let me think. Yeah, this is the third time that they're playing on Division I court. The first two times they did at at Oakland University, and now they're going to be at Callahan Hall on 6 Mile in Livernois on Saturday. The 7 o'clock start. I like we talked about with the Cobo, like the games at Cobo. I love seeing those big stadiums really starting to fill up, and I think that that's one of the things that Orchard Lake St. Mary's Brother Rice game will do. Brother Rice lost a lot, similar to Cass Tech. Mm-hmm. They also have quite a few horses. They're only sophomores. Obviously, you have Warren Marshall. Let's see if they can step up to the challenge and get with the Eaglets, who are rolling. They're stacked. Sherrod Barnes, we were talking with Robbie, our camera guy, and he was saying what a great guy, or what a great game that Sherrod Barnes had in their semifinal win. So we'll see if Sherrod Barnes or anybody else can step up. Obviously, you've got Trey McKinney, but yeah, Todd Culver's doing a great job with Orchard Lake St. Mary's.
Yeah, and I think for the Eaglets, for them, they expect to be here. They know that these championships matter. They've lost some heartbreakers in these games in the past, and they know that actually winning this doesn't really translate sometimes into success in the playoffs. We've seen where it seems like teams coming out of this, a PSL or a Catholic championship, you would think they would just elevate them beyond. So I think for them, everything is in perspective. For Brother Rice, they win this game. I think that's the momentum exactly that they need to say we can beat anybody. And I feel that they will ride high before. If not, maybe they feel. I still think that they can rise up and bounce back. But I think a win here for them could really, really take them a long way.
Yeah, and it's a confidence boost.
Yes.
For their point guard, David Williams.
It means a lot to have that trophy in the case. I think Orchard Lake is thinking title right now.
Yeah, it's bragging rights.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what Brother Rice needs. For the first time in quite a few years, Brother Rice and Orchard Lake St. Mary's are going in different routes to get to the Breslin Center. They're not in the same district, but they've been in the past few years.
Right.
So if they wind up facing again, that would be the fourth time playing each other. Right. But Brother Rice, they arguably have the top front court in the entire state.
Yeah.
From seniors to sophomore, they go 6'8", 6'8", or 6'8", 6'6", 6'6". So, that's tough to beat on the high school level, especially when you've got two guys with Division I offers and another with a Division II offer. Yeah. I think a lot of the weight is going to be on David Williams, their point guard, and just to see how he handles Orchard Lake St. Mary's pressure, keeping turnovers down, just making the right plays, finding the right guys, and getting efficient scores. And I think, that's going to be the difference on whether they win or lose.
But your prediction is
Orchard Lake St. Mary's.
Right. I know. And that's okay. You know what I mean? That's okay. I think this team is built to win now. And Brother Rice, just like we said about Renaissance, maybe they're a year away. Mm-hmm. And then they can do that.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But you know what? When you've got nothing to lose, sometimes it brings out the best. Pressure hits the other team. You've got no pressure. You go on and win. You go on a run. Ferndale's a great example.
Yep. So, it's like being in right field batting ninth. I remember that when I was 10 years old.
No doubt about it.
Strike out,
Guys,
strike out. Oh, the single.
Happy Valentine's Day, even though we're a little delayed by the time you see this. But congratulations to all the teams. We're looking forward to this weekend. We're looking forward to the rest of the schedule coming up. Make sure you stay here at Hangtime each and every week. We appreciate you listening, and we'll see you next week.
State Champs Hangtime is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Be curious, make magic. Hangtime is also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, proud partner of the MHSAA. And the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation Athlete of the Year Award applications now being accepted until March 31st, 2024 for the male and female athletes of the year. Download the application today at dacathleteoftheyear.com. You cannot be nominated if you don't apply.